Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Not Everybody Needs a Podcast with your host, Mackenzie Rencher. You guys, I've never done a solo podcast before, and why do I feel like I'm more nervous for this than any other podcast? Like, when I have a guest, I just know we're gonna be kikiing. Like, when Darian's here, I know that we're just gonna be laughing and like bouncing off of each other. But a solo podcast just feels so intimidating. But I really wanted it to feel like a comfy sleepover, like we're on FaceTime. That's why I'm basically in my PJs. That and a mix of the fact that, Darian has been in Vegas for 2 days now, so I have the kids by myself. So if I disappear during this podcast, it's because I need to attend to one of them. Obviously, I have someone with them now, but it is not for the faint of heart, okay, to have 2 kids by yourself. But Darian travels for work, as you guys know, every once in a while. Luckily, he doesn't have to do it too much. Usually, it's, like, once every other month. Like, he was in Vegas last month as well. And whenever he's gone, I just try to have as much fun with the kid as possible and also like have things that we do throughout the day so that we're not just sitting in the house and playing with the same 3 toys and like driving all of all of us crazy. So I like to take them on walks and like find new things for us to do, but that does make it a little difficult. The fact that it's literally going to snow this week, which it never snows. If you guys don't know, I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. It does not snow here. Like, it has not snowed here in years. It hasn't snowed here since Beckham was born. And so we'll see. You guys will definitely be getting some Beckham in the snow content because she is going to freak out if it snows. She's going to be so excited. I did realize that last week I left out a very vital part of my ins and outs. And this is something that I want to be out. I am sick of the Hailey and Justin Bieber debacle. I don't wanna hear the fake divorce rumors anymore. Every week, y'all say they're getting a divorce. I don't know why y'all are preying on their downfall so bad, but in what other way can this man show that he loves his wife? Like, I the fact that you guys are speculating a divorce based off of songs that they posted on their Instagram story, guys, I can't do it. I cannot do it anymore. That has to be out in 2025. It's just so funny because they just let y'all do it too. Like, they never address it, and they're like, "I guess y'all see us together this month, literally eating dinner, being a normal family with our kid." Like, I can't do it anymore. The fact that he put that thing on his story of her, like, in a bikini and was like, "In 2025, I'll be wherever you are." It's just like, I could've guessed it from a million miles away that we were gonna get some kind of picture of her on his story because it gets to the point where it's like, do we have to post each other? Because if we don't, people think that we're getting a divorce. Like, I cannot imagine being them and having people speculate the fact that I'm getting divorced every other week, and I just, like, have to eventually just not speak on it. So can I be out for 2025? I just feel like I'm over it, surely y'all are over it, and we just have to stop believing everything that we see on TikTok. And we have to stop looking into people's songs that they put on their stories because surely I don't even know what song it was that he posted, like, "All My Ghosts" or something, and then she posted us as a song, and you're like, they're going back and forth, like, they're, like, sending songs to each other. I'm like, "They're, what, 30 years old now?" I think she's a little younger than his. I'm like, if they were getting a divorce, I don't think they'd be putting songs on their Instagram story. So let that just be out for 2025. This past weekend, one of my best friends became a mommy, and there is nothing more special in life than watching your friends become parents. Marissa and Trevor had their baby, which is me and Darian's, best friends, and so we got the text, and they were like, "She's here. We think she's on the way," whatever, and if she decides to share her birth story, she can, but she is, excuse my language, a badass, like, definition of one. I cannot believe she just she truly she did her thing. She did her thing. Shay Lynn Lawrence is here. Getting pictures is like I literally feel like the Queen of England is texting me. We have, like, a joke in our group chat of whenever we see the new mom's name pop up on our phone, we, like, sprint to our phone because there's just something that when somebody has a baby and they give you any kind of attention, you're like, "Oh, I'm so honored," because you know how much work they're putting in, you know how tired they are, you know they're adjusting, so the fact that they would text you, you're like, "Wait, am I famous?" So we've just been, like, checking up on her, And it's so special, especially whenever you are the person to have kids first. Because obviously, Derry and I, if you guys, well, I guess I shouldn't say obviously, if you guys don't know, Derry and I got pregnant unexpectedly because Beckham was a honeymoon baby. Now, let me just speak on this a little bit, because I feel like I still to this day get comments of like, why, like, how do you unexpectedly get pregnant? Like, you should be more careful. I also had a pregnancy scare last year, and I ended up posting the video just because it was funny. But I was 4 months. No, it wasn't last year. Whenever I was 4 months pregnant with, 4 months postpartum with Beckham, I had a pregnancy scare and I was freaking out. And I ended up posting the video, even though the test was negative, obviously, just because I thought it was funny. And I don't know. It was just funny because I was like, nope, I'm not. Bye. And I got so many comments of, girl, you need to be more careful. This is so irresponsible, like all this stuff. And first of all, I just don't think we should comment on women's choice with their body. I just really don't. Two, I cannot be on birth control, and let me tell you why. I tried birth control to kind of like level out my periods a few years before I got married, and just because I wanted to adjust because I wanted to be on it whenever I got married. I have never in my life been more anxious ever. I don't I don't know about depressed. I would say I was getting there because I was so anxious it was making me depressed. But I cannot be on birth control. I tried switching birth control. I'd switched it 3 different times, and I felt like every time it was just getting worse and worse. Like, my body just rejects it. And for me, I would rather have a family of 10 than not feel like myself and not like looking in the mirror every day because I don't know who I am and not be able to just show up for my kids. Because if I was feeling that way now and that anxious and just living at that level of anxiety and I mean, I guess I could say depression because I was down bad. It's just not worth it to me. So I got off of it and I was like, listen, we're just gonna have to track. And as you guys know, tracking can go one of two ways, okay? You either have a baby or you don't. And we did. I don't think I was doing it right, okay? I did my research, but I don't think that I was using the Natural Cycles app correctly. And so, yeah, that's where Beckham came from, which thank God, because she's the biggest gift in her life, and I think everything happens for a reason. Wait, do I actually believe that, or am I just saying that? Do I believe everything happens for a reason? Mm, actually, no. I actually believe that not everything happens for a reason, but God can use everything for good. But I do believe God uses everything for good, and Beckham's here, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But stop speculating and stop commenting on people's birth control choices, because I might have a pregnancy scare next week, and what are y'all gonna do? Okay? Alongside birth control, I have had a little bit rough of a parenting week this week. I stopped breastfeeding, and it's so funny because I was texting my friends last night about it, and I was telling them I would never tell a mom that she needs to feel guilty for not breastfeeding anymore. And it's just funny because I'm so hard on myself about it, just because you just kind of feel like a failure when you feel like that's what your body's supposed to be doing and it won't do it. The reason why I stopped is because I was starting to dry out and it was coming to the point where I was having to give him half formula and half breast milk. So I was pumping for pretty much every feed. And I just cannot do that. I can't do that whenever I have a toddler running around and I wanna give my attention to her and also give my attention to my baby, and he would be hungry after every feed, and it just was not working out for him, it wasn't working out for me, and so we were just completely on formula, and I just slowly weaned him off. But once I knew it was, like, my last time feeding him, I just got this, like, deep sadness, and I dried up around this time with Beckham as well. Like, I don't know why I just cannot make it past the 4-month mark with my kids, but I don't know, I was just telling my friends last night, I just have this thing in my head where I think everyone thinks I failed or like I wanted to fail or something. I don't really know. I just try to convince myself that I I don't know, that he's not getting the best or whatever. And it's so funny because they were like, "What would you say to us if we had to stop breastfeeding?" And I was like, "I would say, okay, it's totally fine. Like formula is perfectly fine for your baby and you need to do what's good for you in Best for Your Baby, and I promise you what's best for your baby is them having a full belly, which he was not getting with me. And so I have been working through that the past few days with just working through some guilt and feeling like I failed in a way, even though I know that's not true because I would not tell one of my friends that. But yeah, I've just been working through that. And if you guys have any advice on how to not feel like a failure in that area, let me know because I'm working through it. But I did put on my Instagram story a few days ago or yesterday, whenever. I wanted to do a segment this week about assumptions on me, and you guys were not afraid to hurt my feelings. And I love that. I love that for you guys. I'm just kidding. It doesn't hurt my feelings because I feel like everybody has assumptions about them. And I think it's fun to address it because why not? So we're gonna address my top probably like, I don't know, 10 assumptions that I got. And I just did the most popular ones, like ones that I got multiple times and got the most. So let's see what you guys think about me. Let me get my phone. Assumptions about me. This will be fun. The first assumption was you grew up wealthy. I have gotten this ever since I became a content creator. I don't know what I give off that I grew up wealthy, but if you guys watched the episode I did with my mom, the second episode of Not Everybody's podcast, I interviewed my mom and we talked about my struggles growing up. It was not always that way, but whenever my dad and my mom got divorced, I definitely went through a time in my childhood where we did not have money at all. Like, my mom was needing help from her mom in order to, like, get us clothes for winter and stuff like that. She worked 3 jobs, she worked so hard, but it was very hard to support us as a single mom, and sometimes she was not getting checks from my dad, for child support, and so that is assumption that I would like to say is not true. It is not true for the most part, I guess. I guess wealthy is kind of whatever that means to you, but I would say definitely not, especially past like 6 years old. We were definitely fighting to literally put food on the table. So, no, if you think that about me, it is not true. I'm here to deny the rumors. You guys tell me why people think that because I'm actually curious. I want to know like what I say or give off that would make y'all think that I grew up wealthy, which is not a bad thing at all. I just want to know why. All right, second, this is the one I think I got the most. You're a mean girl. Let's just address this. Okay, so I feel like I know why people would assume that about me. I really think it's hard, especially through a camera, to come off confident and it not come off mean. But I also think this is a funny thing to address whenever people say about you because I could tell you I'm not a mean girl all day long, or I don't think I'm a mean girl all day long, but at the end of the day, like, you have to just have an interaction with me and meet me or not assume the worst. But I think this is because I do come off confident, and I think sometimes my jokes don't land as jokes and it comes off a little, like, not friendly. I obviously never want to give that off, and I try not to give that off. But I would say whenever I was younger, like my high school age, and whenever I was learning who I definitely don't think I was, like, always the kindest. Now, I definitely try to take the high road in situations, and I try to take the kindest approach in situations, and I can tell you anyone that meets me would not leave an interaction with me saying that I'm not kind, which obviously I'm not perfect, but I really try to make sure that anybody that has an interaction with me would say that I'm kind, and I try to be that person, whether it's in front of people or behind closed doors. And I would say, like, whenever I was in high school, back to what I was saying, is I just don't really think I knew who I was. And I think when you don't know who you are, you start to project that a lot. And I wouldn't say I was a mean girl. And of course, you wouldn't say that about yourself. So again, I can't really say like I'm not a mean girl. I feel like that's just something that people have to experience me for themselves. But I I definitely I think I projected a lot in high school and felt like I had things to prove in high school because I didn't know who I was in middle school. And until I really like feel like I let the Lord define that in me, I found out who I was in Him, and that's when I really started to love my neighbor and tried to be as kind as possible and take the high road and, turn the other cheek. And so, yeah, that's my answer to that. I hope that anybody that ever has a interaction with me, and I know my family wouldn't say that's true. I know my friends wouldn't say that's true. And I know that anyone that would meet me wouldn't say that's true. I would hope. Obviously, I can't control what people think or say, but I would hope that that's not the case. So I guess that's not really denying it or accepting it. I definitely don't accept that. I hope that that is not the case with any interaction that people have with me. That is my final answer. This was an interesting one. You and Darian don't fight and have a perfect relationship. This is not true. I'm here to deny. I actually don't think it's healthy to never fight. Darian and I would say, have healthy fights. We try not to raise our voice at each other, call each other out of our names, and we have learned over the years how to fight in a healthy manner. But we definitely have disagreements for sure. Like, I sometimes can come off very snappy at him whenever I'm overstimulated. He sometimes leaves his dishes in the sink. We have a very normal everyday relationship, like, that you guys are around. I can understand how through social media things can look perfect, and if anything, I really try not to display that. Like, obviously, social media can be a highlight reel, and I believe for the most part that's kind of like what it's supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to share the things that you're excited about, and like with your close friends and your close family is like who you let in on like some of the sad parts and stuff like that. I guess it's kind of like whatever you want to do on social media. For me, whenever like Darren and I have a disagreement, like I'm going to him and we're talking through that. I'm not going to go to social media and talk about it. So I just don't think that's normal to go to social media and be like, we are fighting tonight because he didn't put a dish in the dishwasher. But we definitely have normal, healthy fights. I hope that you guys never get from me that I think relationships have to be perfect to work. I feel like his and I's dynamic is because we have a very open relationship and an honest relationship. And over the years, I feel like we've really, really grown in that. And you're allowed to have disagreements with your partner. You're not like nothing's ever going to be perfect. The fact that anybody would think that a relationship could be perfect, that's just not reality. And in fact, if you guys never fight, I would be like, who is holding something back? Who's not being honest here? Because like your partner is not perfect, and disagreements are going to come up, and that's not a bad thing. And yeah, I feel like him and I have definitely learned over the years how to do that in a healthy manner. But yes, we do fight, and no, we do not have a perfect relationship at all. We're definitely working towards that every day. I had to add this one just because I actually think this is hilarious. You trapped your husband with a baby. In parentheses, don't believe, just have seen before. I would love to know where someone saw this before. That is hilarious. I definitely did not trap Darian with a baby. I too was trapped with a baby. Sorry, that's not a good way to word that. I was also experiencing an unexpected pregnancy, believe it or not. Again, like I said, I would not trade it for the world. She is our baby, our little angel. I love Beckham with my whole heart, and everything makes sense now that that's the way it happened, like I said. But absolutely not. I did not trap him with a baby. Also, like, I don't think you can trap your husband. He did choose to marry me. I did not make him get on one knee. Um, he does love me, believe it or not. And yeah, no, I did not trap him with a baby. That is actually hilarious. I I feel like in order to trap someone with a baby, they have to be like wanting to get out. And as far as I'm aware, he does not want to get out unless he just hasn't been telling me something. But no, that is actually hilarious. Next one, you were a little wild before finding Jesus. Crazy, crazy party girl. I'm just kidding, but I don't really know what you consider wild. I definitely indulged in some underage drinking, and I really craved attention from boys, and that goes back to projecting and being insecure. But for the most part, my mom didn't really let me be wild up until like, I mean, she still didn't let me, but I was hiding things from her, obviously. But I mean, I would go to my friend's house and we would like drink, and I really craved male validation. but I wouldn't say wild, wild. I definitely got some stuff out of my system, if you want to call it that. All things that I am not proud of now. And I wish I could go back and change and tell myself, girl, stop trying to look like you're cool because you're not. There's a lot of things I would go back and tell little old middle school and high school Mackenzie. But no, I wouldn't say wild. I just would say, unfortunately, it's like normal high school behavior. But yeah, then I actually started pursuing my relationship with Jesus and putting him first and seeing what the Bible said about things and finding myself in that and not what I thought, what people thought about me and how I wanted to be perceived by people, and definitely healed a lot in me. And yeah, I think one of the most like misconceptions and things that Christians say that I think is so wrong is that stuff isn't even fun whenever you love Jesus. It's like, no, that stuff is fun, but it's called denying your flesh and living in your spirit. And that's when things start to feel wrong. But it doesn't make it not fun. It's just like, actually, I don't desire to indulge in those things anymore because I actually know who I am and I know what Jesus says about me. And that matters more to me than getting drunk on a Friday night and getting a little bit of boy attention. That just went on in a way that was not an assumption. I just had to get that off my chest. But yeah, I wouldn't say wild, wild, but I definitely got some stuff out of my system, if you want to call it that. You spend more money on parties than anything else. I would say this is true. I really don't have like designer things. I don't spend a lot of money on random things. Well, Darren got me my first designer purse for Christmas, and that was like a huge deal. And that might be the only one I ever have, to be honest, because I don't really care to spend money on stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely spend my money on parties because I care more about making memories with people than I do buying things. And I don't know, that's just what I value more than going and dropping money on bags or whatever else. I don't know why I cannot think of anything else that I would spend my money on right now besides designer bags. But yeah, stuff like that or like expensive jewelry or whatever. I feel like I'd rather just make memories with my friends and give other people an experience because that's what fills me up and what I enjoy doing the most. So, yes, that assumption is true. You are caught in between Mackenzie Grimsley and Marissa Lawrence drama. I had to address this one because I got this multiple times. And then I also got a comment on my Instagram reel that I posted of one of the clips when I did a podcast with Mackenzie. And people were like, that's the thing I wanted to know the most with her is like why her and Marissa don't like each other. And I wish I would have talked about that during the podcast because I have zero idea where that came from, but they're most definitely friends. Like, they're not obviously as close as me and Marissa, but that's just like friendship in general. Like, you're closer to different people. And they have never had an issue or drama with each other. I think that's just how it's perceived on social media. But yeah, they've never had any issues with each other. It's funny that people think that. And I have always wanted to ask people why they think that, but I don't really want to feed into it. But no, that is not true at all. And they're cool. They're friends. You have plastic surgery. I actually do not have any plastic surgery. The only things that I have ever gotten done are, let's think about them. Filler, which I had removed last year multiple times. I had to go through multiple sessions to get it removed. I had filler in my lips, but obviously no longer do. I'm not saying I'll never get it done again, but I don't think I will. I don't know. We'll see. I'll catch you in like 6 months if you guys see me with a little filler in my lips, don't judge, and I'll be honest about it. I've gotten Botox in my forehead. I have gotten my eyebrows microbladed. I have done things like facials and cool sculpting and things like that. I haven't done that in a really long time, but that is all. I've never got any kind of plastic surgery. I have wanted to get my nose done in the past. I'm too scared it won't look good. I don't wanna have black under eyes for weeks, and I'm scared that I won't recognize my face and everyone's gonna be like, "Girl, you looked better before," and then I would have to spiral and never be seen by the public eye again. So I decided, it's not worth it, not for now at least. Not saying I never will, but as of currently, I have not ever gotten plastic surgery. It does scare me a little bit, but maybe one day I'll go under the knife and I'll bring you guys along for the journey. All right, this is going to be my last assumption, but you are the breadwinner. Purr! I'm so happy this is an assumption. I'm just kidding. Honestly, I would say, as far as money goes in our family, that we're pretty equal. I Obviously, our jobs are a little unique, so it does fluctuate. We don't have a salary every year, so I guess it depends on when you ask, like what month you ask, but it always levels out by the end of the year. I feel like with him and I. If anything, he makes a little more just because he has different like avenues of revenue. Um, but yeah, I would say it's pretty average and pretty equal for him and I. All right. I hope that that gave you guys some answers on just different assumptions about me. I want to end this week's episode with a Mackenzie's mindset, as always, giving you guys my mindset on your scenarios. Let's see what you guys sent in this week. Also, I need you guys to DM me your Mackenzie's mindsets because I just go back to like the previous weeks where I asked and I need some new ones and I need you guys to DM me. It'll always be private. Don't you guys worry. I'm a girl's girl. I'll keep it private. Or I'm not a boy's girl. Sorry, that sounds bad. Either way, I will not be spilling your tea. That's what you need to know. The first Mackenzie's mindset. How do I make new friends as an adult? I chose this one because it's very, very hard for me to answer because I honestly struggle with this. The friends that I've had for a pretty long time. And even then, when you're younger, it's really hard to make friends. At least it was for me. Just because I really crave deep friendship. And you can't just like get deep friendship off the bat. Like, there's very few friends where the first time I hung out with them, it's like, oh, we're immediately getting deep. Like, it kind of has to grow. But I would say just in adulthood, finding people that like to do what you do and like doing it together to create a friendship. Like if you're a mom, go find some other mom friends that have kids that are similar to your kid's age and go find something to do together. Or if you like to golf or you like to run or whatever, go join a run club. Go go to the playground and meet some mom friends. Like, you do have to be a little bold, so that's tough. I found a lot of my friends growing up through church. Those are like my like solid core friends, and then through the college time of life where Darian was in college, I would meet like his friends' girlfriends and stuff like that. So if you have a boyfriend or a husband or whatever, just like if he has friends, inquiring, "Hey, y'all got a girlfriend? Y'all got a wife that I can hang out with?" Um, and that can help too. But it is really difficult, and don't feel discouraged if it takes you a minute to find really good friends. It might take you a few coffee dates to find friends that you really click with, but don't give up because friendships are the most important part of my life, I would say. Well, that's kind of tough to say when you have a husband and kids. Those are the most important part of my life and also God. But friendships keep me going and make me feel less crazy every day. So don't give up. You definitely need friends. It's very important to have friends. The other Mackenzie mindset is would love to know about the confidence and joy that you have postpartum. I try to be as honest about my postpartum journey as I can be because I never want to act like I'm perfect. And I feel like I have come on here and shared with you guys, even in this episode, like I'm really struggling with I am no longer breastfeeding and I feel a lot of guilt for that. And it definitely comes in waves. I have had amazing weeks and I've also had days where I have really been struggling. And I think that's so normal. That's literally just anything in life. You're going through such a hormonal shift in your life and a different world and different time of adjustment. And yeah, first of all, just give yourself grace. I am definitely not always overly confident and overly joyful. It definitely comes in waves, like I said. And so I hope that that's not the only thing that I'm ever giving off because that's not the only thing I ever feel. Like I definitely have those moments where I don't feel that way. But I would just say getting out, letting yourself have a break and not feeling guilty for that is a big part of that. I kind of talked about that in last week's episode. What else really helps me? The fact that I have a partner, that's really helpful. Lean on your partner in this time, lean on your friends in this time. Make sure you're doing things that you did before having a baby and like still kind of trying to keep a not normal routine. Nothing ever is gonna feel like that again. But if you made time at night to read a book and that was what you like to do before you had a baby, go do that. And that will definitely help your postpartum journey is trying to keep a little bit of normalcy and like I don't know, just like feeling like yourself and not losing yourself and just being a mom. But yeah, I definitely don't always feel that way. So you're not alone if you don't. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my first solo episode of Not Everybody Needs a Podcast. I love you guys, and I really, really enjoy doing this, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening. You guys can subscribe on YouTube. Guys, we hit 36,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is so crazy. And it feels like I literally just hit my like 1,000 mark and was like freaking out because that felt like such a big number. So 36,000 feels insane. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, you guys subscribe. If you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple, you guys go ahead and follow along on there as well. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Love you guys, and I'll see you next Monday with a new episode.